What's up, Average Dad fans? Welcome back to another video, and today I want to outline facts. Yes, pure facts about the iPhone Air and the Samsung Galaxy S25 Edge. I'm not going to give my opinion at all in this video. I'm going to leave it up to you in the comments. So without further ado, let's compare these anorexic flagships. Let's go. Now, it is the month of September, so we have to forgo Apple their time, their moment in the spotlight, give them their flowers. Apple have outdone themselves in my opinion. I made my Apple Products 2025 video yesterday, and I 100% believe that the AirPods Pro 3 are the best earbuds ever created. The noise cancelling is like otherworldly. And yes, Apple have released a new phone, a completely new device in their iPhone lineup. And again, I'm not going to give any of my opinions as promised, but that's the phone I want to compare today, because conveniently, a couple of months ago, Samsung brought out their thinnest phone in the Edge. So, let's start with what everyone's talking about. The dimensions, because a lot of people are making a big deal about how thin the iPhone Air is. So for context, this is 5.6 millimeters thin. There's no getting around it. That is unbelievably impressive. And it weighs a very, very impressively light 165 grams. Whereas the Samsung Galaxy Edge is a whopping 5.8 millimeters thick, and it weighs 163 grams. So if you're paying attention, we'll do the maths here. 165 grams, 163 grams, which means this is 2 grams heavier than the Edge. But 5.8 millimeters, 5.6 millimeters. So there's 0.2 millimeters difference the other way. So, do you care about 2 grams more or 0.2 millimeters more? Let me know in the comments if you think the hype around how thin the Air is justified, keeping in mind, you know, you've just seen the stats. Now, there are lots of other caveats and things I'll get into, such as speakers and cameras and battery, so please stay tuned, because this will all hopefully make more sense to you by the end of this video. But we continue on with the battery. So the iPhone comes with a 3149 milliamp hour cell, which is understandable because it is so thin. The Samsung comes with a 3900 milliamp hour cell. So by my maths, which is probably wrong, the Edge has a roughly 25% bigger battery than the iPhone Air. 0.2 millimeters thicker, but 2 grams lighter. So in terms of battery capacity, there is absolutely no doubt the Samsung crushes, and that's just facts, not opinions. Now, both phones do pack in wireless charging, which, again, folks, engineering-wise, to have wireless charging on deck in such thin devices, fair play to Apple and Samsung. It's 20 watts wireless on the Apple, and it's 15 watts wireless on the Samsung, with the Apple also charging slightly faster wired compared to the Samsung. But again, you have to think, it may be quicker to charge this phone up to full, but you're getting 25% more capacity on the Edge. And then in terms of chipset, it's the latest and greatest on both, with a caveat. The Samsung Edge gets the Snapdragon Elite chip. The iPhone Air gets the A19 Pro chip, but underclocked. One less GPU, so it's not as powerful as the Pro lineups this year, but it is still their flagship chipset. So for me, and again, I'm really struggling not to give opinions, all I will say is that this is the best, nearly the best that Apple have to offer, and it's the best that Qualcomm or Android have to offer. I would say, performance-wise, they're going to be very, very, very similar in terms of gaming and efficiency and everyday usage. So with that being said, I do believe, with all things being equal, it comes down to the biggest battery in terms of which is going to last longer. And as mentioned, the Samsung has the bigger battery. And before we talk about the cameras, I do just want to let you look around the device, because I want you to let me know in the comments which one you think looks nicer. A lot of hype around the iPhone, which is titanium rails, ceramic shield on the front and back. But it should be said, the S25 Edge is also titanium rails, Gorilla ceramic on the front, Gorilla Glass Victus 2 on the back. I mean, these are both fairly indestructible beasts, and I promised I would do it. There is no flex in either of these phones. They both, from a durability standpoint, feel super, super solid, and they've both been tested. You've seen the videos, especially with the new iPhone. It can withstand a lot of pressure. It ain't gonna snap in your pocket like the iPhone 6s, neither or bend, and neither is the Samsung. Now, the other things you'll want to consider when purchasing your world's thinnest device is the displays. Both are stunning. 3,000 nits of brightness on the iPhone, 2,500 on the Samsung, meaning you're going to read them in absolute direct sunlight. Both have an anti-reflective coating. However, in this one, the iPhone is actually doing better than the Edge. Hopefully you can see that okay. The Samsung is 6.7 inches, 120 Hz. The iPhone is 6.5 inches, 120 Hz. In terms of pixel density, this has never been Apple's strong point. They have never had a Quad HD display like you can get and do get on the Edge. So there's 513 PPIs, pixels per inch, on the Samsung, and 460 on the iPhone. I've mentioned this quite a few times. You're not actually going to notice any real difference with the naked eye unless you have them side by side. And even then, I mean, look, both screens look absolutely stunning. And shout out to Apple for adding some more customization. I really love these see-through dark mode icons that you can get. And of course, Samsung Nights, you know you can get any icon, color, shape, size you want because it's an Android device and it's just more customizable. One thing I'm not comparing in this video is the software. You're either on Apple's team or you're on Samsung's team. It's as simple as that. Are you Android or iOS? You know the differences. If you want to be immersed in iOS, you're going to have to purchase the AirPods, the Apple Watch, the MacBook, the iPad. If you want to be immersed in Android, you have a million other options. You don't have to stick with Samsung. You can buy many, many other Android tablets, watches, headphones, much more open source compared to the closed garden walls that Apple put up. So now that we've seen the displays, I think we should crack something open and listen to the speakers, because I believe the speakers are one of the biggest game changers on these devices. One is good, the other is not. Again, I'm not giving opinions here, I'm just going to state a fact. Mono speaker, stereo speaker. Single speaker, dual speaker. Let's take a sound and see what difference that makes in real life. So there's the speakers. Again, I'll not give my opinion. Just a reminder, single speaker, dual speaker. You can let me know down in the comments what you think. I think I'll know the answer as to what one you prefer. And now that takes us to the other elephant in the room. The biggest deal breaker for some, certainly me. But to be clear, a fact, I could never rock either of these devices as my daily driver because there's no telephoto. I need a telephoto, and a good telephoto at that. So neither of these phones are competing to go in my pocket. So let's talk about the single camera on the iPhone. It's 48 megapixels. It's 1/1.5 inch. It's fine. It really is. Apple know how to take good wide angle shots, that's for sure. And it does allow 4K video recording up to 60 frames per second. But that's it. There's nothing else to talk about. There's no other lens. There's no 8K. Whereas the Samsung has a wide 200 megapixel 1/1.3 inch sensor, far exceeding the specifications of the single lens on the iPhone. But then in addition, you have a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera. Folks, you don't realise how much you miss an ultra wide lens until, well, you just don't have one. Here's some examples taken from both. Please also keep in mind, in terms of video recording, the Samsung will allow 8K 30 frames per second and 4K all the way up to 120 frames per second. Take a look at the examples and then we'll bring it back. Now, to finish off cameras, we have to talk about the selfie camera. The one area that Apple hyped, and every reviewer, including myself, is hyped for full justification, is the selfie camera. The selfie camera on the iPhone is 18 megapixels. Well, it's 24 megapixels, binned down to 18, because it's a world's first square lens on a selfie. Meaning that you can take selfie photos and videos in portrait, in center stage mode, in landscape mode, without having to turn your device around. This is absolutely game changing. So just facts here, this selfie camera on the Samsung is inferior to the iPhone. The selfie camera on the iPhone Air, the iPhone 17 lineup, the 17 Pro Max, the 17 Pro, the selfie camera on those devices is the best selfie camera in the world right now. Now, will other people copy and do a square lens selfie? You can bet all the money, bet your house on it, that other manufacturers, such as Samsung, will bring out that square lens. And that's okay. Apple copy people all the time, as do people copy Apple. Now, the last thing to touch on with both of these devices, which will help make your opinion easier, maybe, is the price. I am just talking about RRP. The iPhone Air is £1,000 for the base 256GB model. The Samsung Edge is £1,099 for the base 256GB model. Just wanted to interrupt. From filming the video to editing the video, the price has changed. The Samsung Galaxy S25 Edge is now brand new from Samsung, £899. So where it was £100 more expensive than the Air, it's now £100 cheaper retail. And that doesn't include any other discounts and trade-ins that you typically get from Samsung, and the zero discounts you get from Apple, or freebies. Not that I'm here to influence your decision. You can make your own decisions on which is a better deal. So if price and value for money, just stating a fact here, value for money wise, because it's the bigger battery, the dual speakers, the dual cameras, the free gift, the Samsung represents better value for money. So hopefully that's been a fairly comprehensive comparison between the two devices for you. If you are on the fence between either of these devices, I don't think you can really go wrong. However, I've highlighted the camera, the speakers, the battery, and I also mentioned the fact that you're either iOS or Android. All the specs in the world can't change the majority of people away from what they're used to. And at the end of the day, if you're buying the Air, if you're buying the Edge, in my humble opinion, and this is the only opinion I'll give in the video really, you're buying them as a fashion statement, not as actual functional phones for the best cameras or batteries or hardware. And that's okay. Tech is an extension of yourself. Your mobile phone is an extension of yourself. I rock a bright orange iPhone just now. I sometimes rock a bifold, trifold, all the fold devices. So nobody can tell you what you like. I am here in this video to state facts. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Smash like if you have. Smash subscribe as well, because we are dangerously close to 75,000 subs. Way before I ever expected to be. So thank you for the support. And until next time.